On today's show, the number 7 seed LA Lakers coming away with the Game 1 win against the 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies. How Anthony Davis's defense impacted this game. The huge contributions from Rui Hachimura off the bench, as well as Austin Reaves closing things out late in this game, and LeBron trusting his teammates to allow them to help him finish things off in Memphis. Adjustments to expect moving forward in the series and more. It's all coming up right here at Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Next game, how about Joel Embiid to score more than 26.5 points? What about LeBron James to have more than 7.5 rebounds? How about Kevin Durant to have less than 6.5 assists? Or what about Steph Curry to have more than 3.5 three-pointers made? So what is Prize Picks? It's daily fantasy sports, but how does it work? Basically, you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times back on your money on any entry that you submit. There's no competing against other players. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you can imagine. That's NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, NFL. They've got you covered for all the action over at PrizePicks. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that simple. They're safe. They offer incredibly fast withdrawals, currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. So download the PrizePicks app or head over to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. So don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Joining us now is the host of Locked On Lakers, Brian Kamenetzky, who you can follow wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Locked On Lakers. Brian, the Lakers coming away with the 128-112 rout against the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 1 of this Western Conference series. The Grizzlies did lose Ja Morant there in the fourth quarter at the end of this game. Now, the Lakers also lost Anthony Davis for a portion of this game. There's injuries flying left and right. Guys are so dinged up at this point in the season. This was a 4-point game in the closing minutes, 3.5 left to go, and then Austin Reaves, of all guys, just completely takes off 9 points in the closing minutes of this game. At one point, with possibly the most Gen Z thing to ever happen on a basketball court, with him running back towards the Lakers bench yelling, "I'm him," after that final bucket in that sequence. Just what was going
just
through your
like
mind
I do
watching
in
him
pickup
take?
ball.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly right. What's going through your mind watching an Austin? Did you have Austin Reaves takeover on your bingo card for the Lakers postseason?
I mean, no. I mean, and it haven't done it for the whole postseason. Definitely not. But like, we talked a lot about this for Monday's show. And, Andy and I did. It's not unusual to see Austin Reaves play well. I mean, he's been really good for the Lakers all season long, moving quickly past like adorable, plucky white guy kind of status into like, whoa, this guy's going to get paid and paid in a big way. What was really unusual about this game, and so different than any fourth quarter of a playoff game pretty much anywhere you're ever going to see, is that when when Rui Hachimura had 29 points, 5 of 6 from 3-point range, Austin Reaves, D'Angelo Russell to a slightly smaller extent, when these guys were really rolling in the fourth quarter, LeBron James and Anthony Davis were playing well. They were both really active on the defensive side. They were doing little stuff all over the floor and whatever. They had 1 bucket each until AD had 2 dunks really late in the game that didn't, kind of change the game at all. It was sort of that last point to it. Like those 3 guys were generating and producing all the Lakers offense, and LeBron James was off ball, not in a like stars call themselves off ball kind of way where like they've passed the ball to someone else and now it's like count to 6 and give me the ball back. And then that 6 seconds I was off ball. He was off ball. He's playing away, cutting, moving, drawing attention from through. And Austin Reaves was running the show. And I've never seen that in a playoff game where the star player who essentially serves as a point guard doesn't handle the ball. But as LeBron said after the game, it wasn't broken. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix. So we just let it keep going. And I was impressed both that the Lakers kept doing it and the stars didn't get in the way of it. And then it was really impressed, obviously, that it worked so well.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the last time we saw a LeBron James-led team where he wasn't the one orchestrating things, conducting things, pulling all the strings.
I cannot.
It's such an anomaly, and yet, I mean, what does that say about just his trust in these guys that he was, willing to let them keep things going with the game on the line there? Like, I mean, is this growth that we're seeing from LeBron? Is it just a different approach?
I think he's trusted teammates before, but I think it's indicative of the growth of the team and, particularly the growth of Reaves. But it was pretty clear, last year that the relation that Austin Reaves is going to be a player LeBron liked. Like, he was very, very smart, makes great decisions, very well prepared, doesn't do a lot of things wrong, does a lot of things well, and plays very well with LeBron. I mean, even last year in sort of another lost season for the Lakers, that combo actually worked really well together. And so, I wasn't surprised to hear that he had trust in Reaves, but just trust in the whole system and trust in this team that has not been together for all intents and purposes for very long. LeBron and AD have a little bit of a history at this point, but this team the Lakers played, they ran out on the floor on Sunday, has really the functional lifespan of the trade deadline. And so that to me was what was really impressive. You can tell he believes in the potential of this team, him being LeBron, and considering what they did on Sunday, it's reasonable.
Yeah. After that performance, I mean, sky's the limit for this Lakers team. I want to talk about Anthony Davis here in just a second, but that other name you brought up, Rui Hachimura, who had arguably one of the best games of his career.
I don't know if we can argue about it.
Not even argue. All right, there we go. Context given. We're just going to say best game of his career. Let's go ahead and just blanket statement that. We're going to retroactively fix that. Best game of his career, 29 points, 21 in the second half. What were you seeing that made it, like, how was he able to be so effective off the bench for this Lakers team?
Well, I mean, he's also kind of quietly started to play well down the stretch. The Lakers have, he had a bit of a time where it seemed like he might not get a ton of playing time and could even fall out of the rotation a little bit. And, we did a show wondering, are the Lakers going to spend a lot of money to bring him back? Like, I don't know. And he, down the stretch of games, I think they figured out kind of the niche with him. He plays very well with LeBron. It's a good defensive combination when Anthony Davis isn't off the floor because Hachimura is able to generate a little bit of offense, especially from the mid-range. And he's a very large body. He's a big, strong guy. And so just physically, he gives the Lakers something different on defense. The 5 for 6 3-point shooting thing. I mean, I'm sure the Grizzlies and Grizzlies fans and Locked On Grizzlies are saying, one thing we know isn't going to happen in game 2 is 11 of 14 and 5 of 6 from 3-point range from Rui Hachimura. It's probably right. But, he's played really well. And the Lakers are showing a lot of confidence in him. He's playing late in games. And I would expect that part of it to continue.
Elsewhere in the Lakers front court, Anthony Davis in this game, offensively solid night, like you said earlier, right? It's not like LeBron and he had bad games, just, a bit more quiet than you would expect from them given the success of some of the other guys in the rotation. But AD had 12 boards, he had 3 steals, he had 7 blocks in this game, Brian. I mean, what were you seeing about just his defensive presence in this one from pretty much from the jump?
What I thought was really cool about this was, like, we spent a lot of time talking about games where, like, the AD puts up a really good box score line. Oh my God, he had 31, 12, and 6. And you're like, but I didn't really feel him in this one. On Sunday, even before he had those late buckets, those 2, like a dunk, and I think it might have even been 2 dunks in the last 90 seconds of the game or something like that. He was the 4th leading scorer on the team. Those points made him the 3rd. He jumped over LeBron. But you knew he was in this game. Like, he started off hot and, imposing on offense, really imposing on defense. 3 block shots the first couple of minutes of the game. And, he changed every shot that Memphis tried to take inside while he was on the floor. And it was just, this is kind of still a bit of a prove it series. As accomplished as he is, he's got a ring and all that stuff, because, like we saw the injury before the end of the first half, like, there's still not this confidence that he's going to be able to make it through. And for him to go out and get hurt and come back and play, that it says a lot, and it can start to go, if it sustains itself, if it stays on the floor, really can start to change the way people talk about him locally, nationally, all that.
Right now, Brian, after going through game one, seeing how that game ended, obviously there's still kind of the question mark on what happens with Ja Morant moving forward in the series, but what's one adjustment that you're expecting to see coming up here in game two from either side, from the Lakers or the Grizzlies?
Well, I'm curious what the Lakers threw a lot of bodies at Morant. They had Dennis Schroeder saw him at different points, Jared Vanderbilt and all that. I am curious to see if they change anything about what they do against Jackson, because he was phenomenal on Sunday and very efficient in the process. And Anthony Davis was not the primary defender for a lot of it. And I think the reason for that is Jackson spends so much time away from the basket that if you put Davis on him, you're taking that rim protection away.
Yeah, you're kind of neutering what Davis provides to the team.
And the Lakers have no rim protection outside of him. So LeBron did a lot of that work. And, Jaren Jackson, LeBron is a big, strong man. Jaren Jackson is bigger. And so, you saw in the post, LeBron had trouble with that. But I wonder if they're kind of doing we'll know on Wednesday, especially if Ja plays, if they approach it the same way, that if it's a sort of one or the other kind of thing, like we think we can defend Ja a little bit better. We have more versatility, more bodies we can throw at him, more schemes. JJ, we can kind of do what we do, because we don't want to use up Anthony Davis all on the perimeter of the floor running around with him. So I'm curious about that. And I am curious to see if Taylor Jenkins at some point decides that the Lakers 3-point shooting, and the Memphis gives up a lot of 3-pointers. That's kind of their defensive tilt. What the percentages the Lakers have to shoot before that changes, before they start to come out more aggressively and take those threes away.
How will Memphis respond to the Lakers in game two? Will the Lakers have to deal with Ja Morant at all throughout the rest of this series, or is he going to be sidelined? You'll have us covered for all of that and more over at Locked On Lakers. Brian, I appreciate you stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
No problem. Thanks.